That was such a lovely introduction for someone who tells people they're full of shit for a living, really. So I'm here to tell you that it's very unfortunate, but we're all dying right now. Everything is killing you, and I'm going to teach you how to market it. Because normally, my goal with all of these is to teach you how to get this information across to people, to let people know that nobody has ever died from a GMO, and that the types of processes we use to make GMOs are safe, and they're helping out our global agricultural system. However, today, I'm here for a different reason, because I've learned the way to make money off of informing people is not to give them the truth. They don't want the truth. They want you to tell them the science that really works with what they're feeling. It's the science in the gut area. It's the happy science that works with what they're thinking. So apparently it's science that involves me not knowing how to use a mouse. But here's the thing, we all know what's killing you. It's everything, right? It's the processed food, it's the meat, it's the donuts, it's the science liquid being injected into the apple, it's the soy, my God, it's the processed food, it's the preservatives, it's the sugar. Everything is killing you. It's probably the air, it's the chemtrails. Have I turned into Alex Jones yet? Am I there? Or about there? I haven't gone full truth or anything, but I'm close. I was going to say, it's the sugar in the water that's making the frogs gay. Am I there? Am I close? But there are a few rules in general that will help you on your quest to market bad science. Now remember, pronunciation determines toxicology. Now, we want people to eat their blueberries because we all know they're a superfood, because superfoods are a thing. We don't know, however, if you told people that it has methylbutyrate octane, that's a chemical. We don't want anyone to eat any chemicals ever. So just tell people they're eating an all-natural blueberry. Because as we all know, Vani Hari, Princess Vani Hari of Foodland, said there's just no acceptable level of any chemical to ingest ever. And I listened to every word from the SciBabe. But you should also remember that buzzwords mean something is healthy. Now, as a door prize today, I have a bottle of this harmless coconut water to give away, because I don't want you to be harmed by your food. But here are some things that were on this label that I'm not sure if you could see, but it said harmless. I love that no coconuts were harmed in the making of this coconut water. It means it's better for you. It's organic. We all know that means that there are no pesticides used. Sorry, something in my throat. I think it was bullshit. Proprietary technologies. These are technologically advanced coconuts. They've been to college. And they're exclusively Nam-Ham coconuts. It's exclusive. You're part of a club. Now, I wanted to know more about this exclusive Nam-Ham coconut club, so I looked it up, and it turned out the only place they spoke of the marvels of Nam-Ham coconuts was on the website for harmless coconut water. It's good that they're getting the word out, isn't it? Finally, someone's letting the world know. But we also need to remember, even though I'm talking about this like it might be a little bit silly, doctors don't know everything. We have to remember, you can't trust experts. You can only trust people who didn't waste their 20s toiling away in a lab when they could have been out getting laid. The only people you should trust are people who are mommy bloggers and MLM salespeople. People who aren't in it for a profit motive at all. Those are the people who you should trust for your scientific information. And the people I trust most are people on Twitter who have done their research. Clearly, these are the people who I should be trusting with my health. Because as we all know, any study is proof if it fits your preconceived notions. I mean, who doesn't want a glass of red wine to be the equivalent of an hour at the gym? I running 2 marathons. This could have been such useful information for me if only I'd known. Why didn't people tell me? Now, if people go to the original study and find out that it's just about resveratrol, the component of red wine that has some health effects, and you would have to drink 100 to 1,000 bottles of wine in order to get this effect, people would go, I'll work on it. You know, remember, levels of chemicals don't count. Just ask Bonnie Harry. And you never have to look at the original article, at the original study. You only have to read the headlines. And of course, any information that's clearly false, it's also kind of ignorable. Have you guys seen this ad? I've seen this ad a lot. Maybe it's because I like tea. I don't know. But this ad has shown up a lot for me, and it says it's a 28-day detox. It starts in May of 2012 and ends in June of 2013. Anything to get that good information out to people. They need to know that it's a good 28-day detox that you can do for a long time. Because you know what, you can always find something on the internet that will validate you, no matter what your opinions are. Are the reptilians in charge of the world? Of course they are. 1.3 million people agree with me. Any reptilians in the audience? Any of you? We have a meeting later, don't worry. We'll discuss. We have a world to take over. It's okay, but
no matter what, if you can find people who agree with you, it always means you're right. But of course, we have to remember, it's because everything on the internet is true. It's why it's so easy to find good information that always supports your point without it being not science-based. And it's why we never should go looking for extra information that might debunk the thing that we believe in. Because if you believe something, keep believing it no matter what other people are telling you, because that will never lead you to bad science. And of course, But unfortunately, I did fact-check this slide, and I found that I was wrong. This wasn't said by Abraham Lincoln, it was said by Marilyn Monroe. Sometimes fact-checking is helpful. Now, I did say this was going to be a marketing guide for bad science. Now, there are a lot of foods that we think of as really healthy, like kale. If you've got a little cancer, sprinkle some kale on it. It goes right the fuck away. I read that on the internet. It must be true. But kale is so good for you, isn't it? Man, if you put it on bread with gluten, it's still bread with gluten, but now it has kale on it. Kale is just so healthy. Everyone, if you're not eating kale right now, you're probably getting a little more cancery. Kale is killing you. You can market anything however you want to market it, because kale, if you have a predisposition to a thyroid condition, can exacerbate that condition or induce hypothyroidism. So, if you're trying to lose weight and you're eating just a buttload of kale, especially in juice forms, it's not going to help your weight loss efforts. That evil, evil kale, more proof that everything is killing us, especially big agro and Monsanto. I was sure of it. But what else is healthy? Because we can't eat kale anymore. We know we can't eat kale. We know it's unhealthy. Salmon can be healthy. It's full of protein. I mean, I found this on the internet. It has to be true. Salmon's full of protein. It has omega-3. It has the good fats. There's nothing that can possibly be wrong with salmon, right? How can we possibly find salmon is horrible? Salmon is farm raised, and you don't even know if the salmon you're getting now is GMO. And you know what GMO means? The rest of the internet doesn't either, so it's okay. But if it's farm raised, that means it's not natural. Just like this microphone and this projector and the iPhones that we all watch porn on. But it's okay, because we can market this as being bad. And remember that, as long as you can market it that way, it's true. But what about the goji berry? The goji berry is supposed to be, they're not just snacks, they're practically medicinal. You can't swing an organic salmon without hitting a book saying that goji berries are going to save your life. Goji berries are full of everything, but mostly they're full of sugar because they have about the same sugar and calorie content as a Starburst. Oh yeah, of course they're delicious. You can market anything however you want. So of course remember, this means Starbursts are a health food. But what else do we know as healthy? Chia seeds. Oh, who doesn't remember when chia seeds came out into the market and all of your friends were drinking those glasses full of tadpoles? But chia seeds are absurdly healthy for us, right? They're amazing. They have omega-3s, they have protein, they have calcium. They're basically salmon in seed form. See, tadpoles, told you. But of course, I know salmon's not good for you, so this means there's probably some bullshit up with the chia seeds too. What's going on with the chia seeds, other than this monstrosity? In all honesty, I did Google chia statues that have been outed as sexual predators. That's the end of the political jokes, I apologize. However, chia seeds can send you to the ER because if you don't fully saturate them with water, chia seeds, and this has actually happened, there is a documented case of this, they can expand in your esophagus and they can cut off your airway. I'm gonna stick with another form of protein, thank you, because I've never had my airway cut off by salmon. I'm just saying, but we all know that's unhealthy, so we have to find, say, a softer form of calories that we know won't get stuck in your airway. Say, the avocado. Oh, I hear sighs. I hear happiness. I hear Californians. And I have to admit, this one hurt me to look at probably more than it's gonna hurt any of you. But look at that, the avocado is amazing. It's nature's candy. You don't have to do anything to it, and it's just perfect. I mean, you can add a little salt and a little cumin and a little cilantro, as long as you're not one of those horrible people who hate cilantro and you have the best dip on the face of the planet. However, otherwise, it's just perfect. It's perfect food. It has all these vitamins. It's great for you. Avocados are fucking fattening. And this is one of those things that when you're marketing superfoods, you leave out of the picture. You don't tell people about the calories. They don't need to know about the calories because with superfoods, the food is something greater than just the contents of the food itself. It has some intrinsic goodness. It's a wellness promoter because it has something just so wonderful in it beyond the contents of its minerals and calories. It's just making you better by you being near it. And the avocado, despite the fact that it has a zillion goddamn calories, has somehow been branded as a weight loss food. Please remember, and again, Californian and technically a millennial, this hurts me to say. They're wonderful. Be diligent in checking in checking how much you're eating of them. But here's something that's always fascinated me. People talk about they're the healthy fat. I need these types of fats. Then why, when they're marketing the Silicato from Florida, do they market it as less of the healthy fat? Why don't they market the Hass avocado as more of the healthy fat so it's better for you? I think I've just stumbled across a new marketing thing for the Hass avocado people. They can Venmo me for the payment for that. But, I've just gone through and ruined a ton of superfoods for you. You're welcome. But here's the thing, now what do you have left to eat? This is getting harder and harder. Locally grown food, oh, who doesn't love their local farmers markets? We have some great ones here in California. Even up in Vallejo, I have a good farmer's market. This is a wonderful place. We grow all the food. Locally grown food is great. You get to connect with your farmer. In general, it tastes better because it was shipped and picked so recently. Local food is just wonderful. It's also killing us all. The inefficiencies in it are bad for our food system, and one of the biggest problems with agriculture is that in general, it burns a lot of fossil fuels, and local food, due to its inefficiencies, does not help with this. And it turns out there's a huge trade-off on carbon no matter what you do with the food system, and local food is the least efficient of all. So I guess you can't eat anything from anyone who grows locally. And I mean, we all know if people are growing it far away from you, you can't trust those people either. So you can't trust locally grown, you can't trust stuff that's grown far away. Well, let's look at the macronutrients, because maybe some of those are okay. Let's look at fat to start with, because no nutrient has been as controversial as fat. Let's find one that we can all agree on. The anal leakage fat is one that we all agree is bad. Let's not do the anal leakage fat. Does people remember those? It's for anyone who won't admit it. Does anyone have a friend who remembers those? You shouldn't have to use a maxi pad to eat potato chips, I'm just saying. But you know what, we allegedly, according to they, who say, we allegedly need all of the macronutrients, and we need some of the fats. The American Heart Association said that here are some of the good fats, and here are some of the fats that we should limit. But you know what one of my rules was? Come on, audience.
Everything's killing you.
It's not just that everything's killing you. Look at who gave us advice. You can't trust the mainstream medical associations, because they're the ones who have the bad advice. You have to go outside of mainstream medical associations. But of course, we all know Time magazine is a bastion of well-reviewed science. And turns out we should all be eating sticks of butter for our health. So it turns out I was wrong this whole time. And butter is a health food. There are all these healthy fats that we should be eating. Olive oils, I didn't realize that chia seeds were full of fat, but apparently they are. There are tons of healthy fats that we should be getting into our diets on a regular basis. And this is part of a balanced diet according to the internet. Some places on the internet will tell you to cut carbs entirely and stick to a diet that's high in fat. Good for you if you do that. However, there are people who will also tell you it's goddamn killing you. There's nothing that can't be marketed as something that's killing you. With a study of whatever level of repute, with arguments that take studies out of context, and with studies that sometimes are just true. But what else? But at this point, what do we have left that's not killing you? Don't you need protein? The question that every vegetarian in this room is sitting here going, shut up, I've heard this question way too many times. Don't we need some protein? We need some protein. Oh, a high protein diet will kill you. Everything, there's nothing sacred. Is a steak not sacred? The ghost of Anthony Bourdain mourns if this is what's killing you. I see some of you saying too soon. Anthony Bourdain would like that joke. Moving on. But there are doctors who will tell you a high protein diet is killing you. Have you seen these folks? Have you been into the Netflix documentary Well of Information? It's the place where I go for all of my peer-reviewed evidence. Who here has ever seen, say, I'm going to list off a few, What the Health, Forks Over Knives, Food Choices, Fed Up, Ready for Change, or who has a friend who's watched them? You've seen some of these things, and they make a compelling case. Especially Forks Over Knives, they make an incredibly compelling case for why everything that comes from an animal is killing you right now, with this book, The China Study, that shows a ton of correlations between cancer and diet, specifically with meat and with processed foods. But of course, they focused on the meat, didn't focus so much on the processed foods, and really didn't didn't go too much past the correlations, because we all know if it's a correlation and you want it to be true, it's true. So they let everyone know that meat was killing them and possibly even causing cancer. Oh, they went there. And they told people, there was one of the doctors in there, we're going to get to him later, who told people that milk, it never mind doesn't do a body good, it's like liquid meat. I don't know about you, but that's not a flavor I get when I add my quick into my milk. That's not a thing. But I saw it on Netflix, so it has to be true. We can't have dairy, we can't have meat. They're going away. They're going away fast. There isn't much left to eat anymore. I mean, I always thought milk was a good source of protein, healthy fats, and calcium, but apparently I've been wrong this whole time, according to the internet. So what is there left to eat? Vegans and vegetarians I would hope that, I'm guessing at some point, soy comes up in your diet, but soy, we all know, has hidden dangers and is, of course, killing you right now. And how is it doing that? Through a couple of means. Number one, we all know, phytoestrogens. A couple of you were thinking that, right? Phytoestrogens? Because we all know those phytoestrogens are going to change your gender. It's in the water and it's making the... Sorry, Alex. But if those phytoestrogens were really so good at doing that much to your gender, ask any of my transgender friends. They'll tell you it's not doing much. There's not much to soy in that. However, it's still killing you, and you know why? It's the Roundup. It's the GMOs. And you don't have to, because of course we know, we can walk around any science, it's inconvenient. We don't have to tell people that Roundup is less toxic than table salt. We can just tell them that it's really scary, and we can say that over and over again until everyone believes it. It's less toxic than table salt, vinegar, and aspirin, and a lot of way more toxic pesticides went off the market after it started being used. Don't tell people that, because now Roundup is such a hot issue that if you just say something has Roundup on it, you can convince them that it's bad for them and probably killing them now. And of course, we always say, what do we say? It's doused. Doused. How much is used? About a soda can worth on an entire acre. A soda can. But you know what? That looks like doused to me, and we can market it. We can make it sound like soy is killing you too. There is nothing that's not killing you. You know why? I hope you haven't forgotten already, there's no acceptable level of any chemical ever. Don't forget, we can't forget this. All the chemicals are bad. And of course, there is a chemical that we haven't discussed yet in the food system, and it's one of my favorite, sugar. Oh, isn't sugar delicious? I do enjoy myself some sugar from time to time. But we all know, I mean, look at that. There's poison marks directly on it. It is just that picture is killing us. And I mean, sugary sodas. There was an infographic on the internet, and it got shared everywhere. Being viral means it's true. We all know, that's how I get my news. But but we know that sugar, we know that you probably shouldn't eat too much sugar, or at least that's kind of common health wisdom. Even if a little bit of sugar is not going to hurt you, a lot, something you shouldn't go near. But there's always one, as I said earlier, no matter what you believe in, you can find 1.3 million people who agree with you. And if you want a diet high in sugar, let me introduce you to this guy, Dr. John McDougall. Dr. John McDougall, again, does anyone remember Forks Over Knives? All those long lists of documentaries. He is in every documentary you can find on Netflix. And he cannot tell you enough how good carbs are, and not just carbs, but straight up sugar. He told the tale, and because sometimes I've done a lot of these interviews in my life. Sometimes I've done an interview where I've done 2 hours worth of interview and I see 5 minutes of it cut together, and I'm like, how did that happen? But I looked at this movie and thought maybe when he said this thing about sugar and rice curing diabetes, he was... You laugh, but this happened. He claimed there was a study from the 50s, because studies from the 50s are reliable, that showed that rice and sugar treated diabetes. Oh my God. We I've been doing it all wrong this whole time. Now I thought perhaps, as I brought up the 2-hour interview thing, I thought perhaps, maybe there was a chance that they took him out of context. They took just a little thing and exaggerated on it. But no, it's in an online presentation of his. So sugar, much to all of your delights, I hope, is a health food. Don't worry, a doctor on the internet says it. It's probably true. So conversely, what, you can't drink your sugary sodas. What can you drink? You can drink Diet Coke. I wrote this article. I know that you can drink it. So hold on a second, I'm a little parched. It's my favorite part of the show is the Diet Coke break. I'm sorry, I'm very thirsty. That didn't taste like obesity at all. Anyways, so you'll hear a lot of things online about Diet Coke. I've heard a ton of them. My favorite one is probably this one. Just give you a second on that. Sometimes I make the jokes, sometimes my followers provide them. But Diet Coke, it's so wonderful. It tastes so good. It's my sparkly brown caffeine water. It's like unicorn tears and a hug from Jesus mixed into one. Of course it's bad for me. I found an infographic on the internet that says so. I guess all those hours of carefully researching the effects of diet soda for my article were forgone, because this, I mean, it even shows a bulge in the can. A bulge, people. That's what your belly will look like if you drink the demon diet soda. But what else is there out there that's killing you? Because you shouldn't, if you can't drink diet soda, what should you drink? Water. Of course you should drink water. Oh, good audience. You should drink water. Look at all these reasons. It's a meme on the internet. It's probably all true. It's, again, don't fact check things. Fact checking is bad. It's a meme on the internet. You should drink water. But what kind of water? Because the internet is unclear about this point. Apparently, drinking cold water will help speed up metabolism. Have you guys heard this? Cold water will, because a calorie is a measure of heat, and your body has to warm up the cold water, and then you'll be thin by drinking a glass of water a day. That's not how that works. But the cold water will help you lose weight, so drink cold water, right? The internet is not sure about this. Apparently cold water is really bad for you because it makes your stomach contract. And when your stomach contracts, you can't digest correctly. And when you can't digest correctly, you're going to die. So this is why you should never drink cold water. And of course, you should never drink ice water with your meal. Because, of course, what we just said about your stomach constricting with ice water, it's going to constrict a lot if you have ice water and a hot meal, because there's no way those two will mix in your esophagus. That's not a thing that happens when you consume things. So please remember that when you're drinking. So you can't drink ice water. You can't drink ice water with a meal. And I mean, we're not sure. So what other types of water should we be wary of? Bottled water. You don't know where it came from. And again, it's local versus far away. You don't know. And we all know you can't trust local or imported things. So you can't trust any of it. It has particles in it. It has colored round dots in it. And infographics show that has to be really bad for you. And it's stored at higher temperatures. But so even though it tells you not to drink cold water, apparently you can't drink hot water either. Except that the internet says there are benefits of warm water to cure disease. You know what? They're a free thinker, and that applies to spelling, and that means you can trust them more. But then somewhere, I'm guessing a little less reputable, of course, because nowhere would use terms about medicine on the internet if they were reputable, warns that Legionella is a disease that exists in your sink, and that you probably shouldn't drink hot water straight from the tap. This is a true thing, please take my word for it. But what other types of water are bad for you? Warm water with lemon is either really good for you or really bad for you. So we clearly can't drink warm water with lemon. There's nothing. What is there left? We're running out of things. I'm getting verklempt on this. But we have found one water that you can drink. You're going to drink water with the frequency of love. If you can't read that, wait for. I apologize. I hate reading straight off the slide to people, but if you can't see this way in the back, here we go. After sourcing this incredibly precious water from our protected aquifer in the remote northern Queensland, it is put through a 2-stage kinetic energy process. Does that mean it just falls or something? 2-stage kinetic energy process. They do that twice. Infused at 528 hertz, the frequency of love. This trade secret process, they just told us, so I don't know how secret it is. This trade secret process enlivens the individual molecules, producing I can't read that from here. Remarkable, thank you. Remarkable soft and ultra hydrating taste, feel, and effect. As a result, we believe we have created the world's first bottle of love. And the most dynamic beverage in the universe. I know I've been trying to talk to you about how to market bad science, and I've been playing this whole thing very straight, but fuck these people. But we also need to know where we can eat, because we can't just eat all willy-nilly. That would be crazy. We'd be getting very cancery. So what else? What else should we know? We can't eat while sitting. Sitting is probably killing you. If you're sitting, you're not moving the Thank you for that demonstration, sir. But we're not done yet. Sitting is probably killing you. There are tons of studies showing that how we've moved from a society where we moved a lot to where we sit a lot to where we're sentient and we're not sentient to where we're look. I haven't had my coffee today. It's that sedentary. That's the word I was looking for. It's moving on because I think I've lost the ability to make a joke on that one. But we've gone from standing all day to running around to trying to chase down a buffalo on the open plain to sitting a lot. And it's not good for us. So we should probably stand more, right? The internet will tell you otherwise. Because apparently, standing for too long is going to kill you too. So you see, you cannot eat anything in a box. You cannot eat it with a fox. There is about nowhere you can eat and nothing you can safely eat according to the internet, because it's all going to kill you and it's all going to make you fat. But you probably shouldn't worry too much, because worrying about getting fat is killing you more than being fat itself. Now this all may seem very silly to you. This all might seem, a little bit like we've gone a little bit over the top, I know. But it's all because I want to warn you about the bad things that are out there and also help you in case you ever want to start marketing bad science. But please remember, with all of these things that we know are killing us, and that we also know we can market to say aren't killing us, the only things that we really know from this presentation that you can safely consume are organic cigarettes and bourbon. I hope you've enjoyed my presentation. I'm the SciBabe. Thank you, guys. Question?
Yeah, we do have time for questions. I'll run around with the microphone. All right, I'll take this one in the front first.
I just wanted to thank you for not giving this presentation right before lunch.
I do what I can. It's thank the nice folks who scheduled this.
I'm surprised you didn't mention this this new Bay Area trend of this, what is it called, the pure water, the water right out of the creeks, the Giardia water.
I wonder if I had, I think I probably would have put it in, I know I was looking at putting that in, but at some point I was just like, no, that's too fucking stupid. It's raw water. It's people who are going to this stream to just get water that's never been, filtered, pasteurized, in any way checked for microbes. And it's because apparently people wanted to live in the era before pasteurization because life was great when we were all dying of cholera. I don't know about you, I prefer not dying of violent diarrhea, so I prefer my water from a place that's clean and not, and it's, so when you can see sediment and living little amoebas floating through your water, it is not a sign that your water is healthy. It is a sign that your water is out to kill you. Because nature doesn't give a shit if you live or die, really. So,
If you want the details on Giardia, that's my area. I won't talk about it over the microphone. It's unpleasant.
Since you spend so much time on the internet, I wonder if you come across what the Russians are telling us about nutritional information. Have they gotten on that yet? They're dealing with politics. They must get into nutrition at some point.
I have not seen much on Russian nutrition. You ask like this is something you've seen. Is there anything you've seen that? I haven't seen any Russian disinformation on food, and it's probably because in communist Russia they don't have food. So maybe it's like in communist Russia, find food, and no matter what is if you can eat, is it edible. I apologize to my Russian chemistry professor from college, whose accent I learned from her. Yes.
The reason they invented beer was because the water was dangerous back in Egyptian times and so on. And beer purifies the water, so that's why they all drank beer. Why beer was invented, to keep you from dying.
So beer, this raises, I'm not sure if everyone heard, but beer was invented to keep us from dying from the dangerous water. And this raises an interesting question because water, through the course of human history, has killed a lot of people from being infected with parasites, with various diseases, which at this point in human history has killed more people, water or alcohol? Probably water. It's an interesting, between drowning, infections, all the other ways water can kill you. It's why I warn people about the most dangerous chemical, dihydrogen monoxide. And your other little trivia for the day, what is the most, and whoever throws their hand up in the air first and I see it, gets my door prize of harmless coconut water. What is the most dangerous or deadly animal on the planet? There we go. Hold on, I'm running it down personally. You can have it though.
Can you repeat the answer?
Mosquitoes. Because mosquito, that tiny little bit of a thing, how many diseases does it spread? Oh, if only we still had DDT. Moving on.
So many. Treat all of your dogs for heartworm.
Please do.
That's my only plug. All right, one more question.
Physicians generally are not taught science in medical school, so when you see a physician touting the, quote, science behind something that they are furthering, there's a pretty good chance that that physician doesn't understand if there is science and science behind it.
I'm just curious, when you say this, what's your understanding of how physicians are taught?
They're taught how to cure diseases with what's been gathered, mostly empirically. They're empirical, they're not causal. Physicians are not taught to understand the physiological mechanisms for disease. They're taught to diagnose and to treat with the standard of care. But they're not taught the underlying science. They're taught a little in physiology courses, but they're not taught how the data is gathered. They're not taught how to draw conclusions using scientific thinking.
Did you fact check that? I'm just saying, I'm going to sass you, and it doesn't matter if you have a really charming hat, I will still sass you. and any other I'll be around all day if you want to pick my brain. But any other? Oh, yes.
Did you
Wait for the
notice
microphone.
in the internet this past week that Monsanto no longer exists?
Oh yeah, Monsanto no longer exists. I don't know where I'm going to get my shill checks from, guys. And I know somebody is going to take that little clip and put it on the internet and be like, she admits it! And just to clarify, I have never gotten a cent from Monsanto. I visited there. They gave me lunch. If anyone wants to tell me that I've been paid off by a $7.25 salad.
She's a shill!
Yes, I am. So, any other questions or one way in the back?
I think we have to cut it for time
Well,
because
I'll chat with you later.
she'll be around.
Yes.
Please thank Yvette.